What is up, everybody? Today I have a different type of video that was actually requested by one of you guys, which is beginner-friendly aquarium plants. Now, I do not have all this memorized, so I actually have it written down on my handy-dandy notebook, which is going to be placed down here. So if you see me glancing, that's what that is. Now, these are plants that either I have found online to be well suited for a beginner or well-rounded plants, or plants that I personally have had experience with in my older fish tanks in the past. So, some of these were really hard to narrow it down, but I have background, foreground, carpeting plants, and floating plants all written down in this notebook to go over with you guys. I will be inserting pictures as well, whether it's a picture of the actual plant or the plant in an aquarium, just to give you guys a better visual of what these plants are and what they would look like in your fish tank. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting with the Java fern, these are one of my beloved plants. I have had so much success with them in the past, but it was really hard to narrow it down to just one. So I compiled 4 or 5 different types of Java ferns for you guys. That way you guys can pick out what you think would be best suited for you. So starting off strong, we have the narrow Java fern. I'll put a picture here and a picture here. These guys get to 3 to 5 inches, but they can grow up to 7 inches if you have the right water parameters, the right lighting, if they just love your tank. So if you're looking for something that is a slow grower or a wicked fast grower, these guys aren't going to be your speed. All of these Java ferns are kind of medium growers. They will propagate on their own and multiply within your tank, but they're not going to just show up one morning. Next up is the flaming Java ferns. These guys are also medium growers. All these guys are, but they just look really cool. These guys get 4 to 8 inches tall, so they're just a really good average height for you guys. The black forest Java ferns, again, these are more of a deeper, rich color. So if you're looking for something more natural or earthy looking, I personally have had such good experience with the black forest Java ferns. These guys also get 4 to 8 inches tall. The gold sparkles are just a really cool looking Java fern in my opinion. These guys stay 3 to 5 inches tall, so a little bit smaller than your average or like the black forest or narrows, but they still have such a cool presence to them. This one is really hard to pronounce. The Windlove Java fern. Totally butchered that, but take my word for it. I'll put it somewhere in here. These guys get 3 to 5 inches tall if they are just surviving in your fish tank, but they can get up to 12 inches tall. So these guys can get a lot bigger than the other ones that I just listed, but they're still pretty cool. And if you don't mind dipping some scissors in and cutting them, you'll have no problem. Moving on, we have the Anubias nana. Now, these guys also, there's a couple different types that I would really recommend for these, but they're just so pretty in these fish tanks that I've seen online. I haven't personally had them, that it's just, I had to include them for you guys. The Anubias nana petite usually stays to 5 to 10 centimeters tall, but these guys are a really slow grower. And I mean slow. They're really pretty, but they're not just gonna sprout on you. It takes a little bit of time. The Marina as well can get to 10 centimeters tall, but once again, just a really slow grower. And both of these plants, as I've found Anubiases just in general, they really like shade. So if you have not a well-lit area and you're looking to get rid of some algae, slow some growth, these guys are going to be your best bet for that. They like them. The golden Anubias nana as well, that can get to 3 to 5 inches taller, so a little bit taller than the other guys, but still just a really slow grower. Next up is the carpeting plants. So we're going to start off strong with the microsword. These guys get 1 to 3 inches tall, but they are medium to rapid growth. So they're not going to be super slow on you. You are going to notice some progression, some growth in these guys, but they are a carpeting plant. So when they propagate, they're going to stay really low and they're going to be a really, really pretty foreground plant. They almost look like wild grass simulating in an aquarium, which I personally love. Next up is the Monte Carlo. There we go. These guys as well, they are a medium to rapid growth plant. They can get to about 1 inch high, but it really just depends on your aquarium, the parameters, how much it likes it, how much light, all that good stuff. But they are going to stick around an average of 1 inch height. They're just really pretty. I mean, they're like your stereotypical carpeting plant. You really can't go wrong with these guys. And lastly, the dwarf hairgrass. Now, I've heard so many people talk about dwarf hairgrass being a non-low maintenance plant where CO2 is recommended for them, but it's worth mentioning because if you feel comfortable or feel like you can do your own research and feel like you'll do good with them, by all means, they should be in this list. 1 to 2 inches for height-wise, and they are kind of a medium growth plant. As far as background plants, it's worth to mention, the very back of your tank, you want these big, full plants. You want to be able to cover the back glass. If that's what you're looking for, the Java fern is going to be awesome too. Some of those taller types that we're talking about, but also the Vallisneria americana. I'm really bad at pronouncing these, so just totally don't mind me. I will put the names in this video anyway. I'm going to butcher every single one of them. Vallisneria americana. These guys are going to get 8 to 12 inches tall. They are medium to slow growth, but they do get really big. So they are going to fill up the back of your aquarium glass, and they're just going to look really pretty. So moving on to the back page. Here we have Bucephalandra. Again, putting the name up here. I have not had personal experience with this plant, but I have heard so many good recommendations that it's just worth putting it in this video once again. So these guys, Bucephalandra, I believe is how you say it. The black pearl. Now these guys are really pretty. I'm, again, putting pictures everywhere in here for you guys. These are slow growing plants. Very slow. I think they're slower than the Anubias nana that I mentioned. These guys are really smaller, though, a lot smaller. They're going to have 1 to 2 centimeter leaves. So they are really, really pretty. They're really unique looking. But all of the Bucephalandra leaves are going to be a little bit smaller. The Lamandu, yep, mini purples. They're going to have 2 centimeter leaves. And again, just really slow growing. They're a really pretty plant. You can put them on driftwood. You can put them in the foreground. You can put them really wherever in your tank. They're really versatile. Just make sure not to cover them with a bunch of substrate, and that goes for all of these. The brownie blue, again, just a small plant. I looked up a bunch of different things and I couldn't get an exact measurement on the height or the leaf size. I just couldn't find anything, but I know that they're slow growing and that they are a smaller plant, so probably close to everything else, probably around the 2 centimeter mark for leaf size. Now, moss. Moss. If you guys have shrimp or betta fish or cory cats or anything, moss, you're gonna love it. I want some. So the 2 types that are really good for beginners are Java moss and Christmas moss. I'll put both pictures here for you guys. Take a second because they're beautiful. Personally, I like the Christmas moss. I feel like it has such a different texture to it, and it really brings out the fact that there's moss in your aquarium. Moss, Anyways, water wisteria, these guys can get really big, but you will have such good luck with them as a beginner. I have had them in my tank and they just took off. I was constantly cutting them, propagating them, using them in different areas, and switching them from tank to tank inside of my bedroom. Water wisteria can get 10 plus inches tall. So these guys are going to need trimming. If you don't want maintenance on these plants and you just want them to be self-sustaining in your tank, don't get these. These are going to take over your fish tank. But if you want something that you're going to have good luck with and that you don't mind trimming them, get some water wisteria. Okay, get some water wisteria. Lastly, floating plants. Now, who doesn't love floaters at the top of their tank? They just add so much detail. They make it look like a pond. I just personally love them. So we're going to talk about red root floaters, which I love and I've had such good experience with in the past. If I had a betta fish in that tank, they loved swimming through the dangly roots, and it just adds some color, just some bright, vibrant color, which I feel like just stands out in any aquarium. The frog bit, really can't go wrong. These guys multiply like crazy. You'll have like a couple little bit in there, and the next thing you know, the whole top of your aquarium is just covered in it. So really fast propagating. Duckweed, once again, really fast propagating. If you want to have like a couple little bits of duckweed in there, your whole top of your aquarium is going to be covered in it in like not a long time. Maybe like a couple weeks. You'll see more and more and more and more and more and more and more. But if you're looking for a floater that's fast propagating and you're going to have good luck with it, there you go. Lastly, water lettuce. Now, these guys are really cool looking. I've had a good experience with them in the past in some of my fish tanks. If you have shrimp or a betta fish or anything, you'll probably have good luck with these guys. Water lettuce, just make sure it doesn't like completely take over, because you won't get light inside of your tank. They will completely cover the whole top and the light won't be able to penetrate. So water lettuce is a good option too. Now, personally, what do I have in my fish tank? You've all seen it. You know exactly what fish tank I'm talking about. The only one that I have on this channel. What is in it? And the honest answer that I have for you guys is I don't know. I have no clue. I was told when I bought these seeds that they were small leaf carpet plants. What does that mean? I have no idea. The second one's the really tall grass. That's aquarium grass. What kind? I also don't know. So I did some research. I took some pictures, Google searched it, reverse image, whatever you want to call that. And personally, the small leaf carpet grass that is in there, I think is pond water starwort. I'll insert some pictures in here and you guys can tell me what you think. And the aquarium grass, I think, is needle spike rush. Again, here are some pictures. I don't know. I really don't know. I would not recommend the aquarium grass that I have. It's going through so much dieback and it's causing so much algae in my tank and I hate it. I want it gone. But if I get rid of it, my shrimp are just going to be really sad and have nowhere to hide. So that's my predicament. As far as the carpeting stuff, just be really patient with it and it looks beautiful. As far as beginner plants, that's my video. If you guys have any recommendations or want to spread some knowledge to any other beginners that might be seeing this video, please comment down below so that way we could all just share the knowledge and maybe I can get some too, because half of these plants I was learning about while making this video. So I'm so glad that I got to make this for you. I love you all. I hope you have a great day. See you in the next video.